It's been a while since I've done a video like this where we read over a news article. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes clickbaity. It could go either way. But I stumbled across this one, I think a day or so ago, and I don't know. I really don't know. We'll try to keep an open mind when we read the article. By the way, if you want to read it yourself, it's linked below in the description section, but there's no point because I'll read it for you. Alright, so this is from Games Radar. Red Dead Online is the best way to experience Red Dead Redemption 2's epic open world. And let's just browse through some of the comments. No words. No words need to be said here. Okay. I think you get the gist of the response regarding the title. So let's hear the writer out, right? Let's hear him out. Let's keep an open mind. We're gonna try to. Okay, so once again, Red Dead Online, the best way to experience Red Dead Redemption's epic open world. Throw other players into a mix, and the Wild West becomes truly wild in Red Dead Online. Okay. When they finished Red Dead Redemption 2, they were spent, basically lived in Rockstar's vivid slice of Wild West for 2 months, playing most evenings, and while they enjoyed every minute of it, when those lengthy credits finished rolling, they were ready to go somewhere else, but a lingering feeling that they wanted to return to the world was always kicking up dust in the back of their mind, and the multiplayer mode of Red Dead Online was an excuse to revisit those evocative plains, deserts, and forests. But here's the thing. They're not really into multiplayer games. They had no interest in Red Dead Online's gunfights, horse races, death matches, or any other competitive PvP modes. They just wanted more story, primarily as a way to immerse themselves in the world again. Hey, you know, kindred spirits, I'm not really into the PvP either. So they were happy to discover a series of co-op missions called the Land of Opportunities, in which your mute gunslinger takes part in a series of entertaining various missions, all of which have voice acting, set pieces, cutscenes, as you expect to see whenever you're playing as Arthur Morgan in single player. Let's see, they devoted a few good hours to playing, replaying these missions, teaming up with random cowboys and cowgirls and cowpooks through matchmaking. Jobs offer include stealing horses, bounty hunting, defending Valentine from the Del Lobo gang, and even robbing a bank in Saint Denis. They're fun, challenging, and the story is engaging enough, a bit dampened a little bit by the fact that your character is a blank slate who never utters a word. You can barge into a stranger's cabin in the middle of the woods at night, see rifle slung over your shoulder, and they'll never know because usually there's nobody in the cabins or the homes that you go looting in. They're just not there, but I'm not complaining. Somehow they're looking for work, not to rob them. I think they're referring to the stranger missions. Okay, yeah, because there is stranger missions where you have like Black Bell and a few others, like Foreman just chilling in the house, waiting for you to come and give a stranger mission to. Okay, I see what he's saying. But there's also other houses, obviously, where you can just go and loot. I love looting. But the more they play Red Dead Online, the more they became aware of the fact that this is the spaces between the missions that they enjoyed the most. Those moments of unplanned exploration, seeing a distant mountain or building and deciding to ride there, the ambient tasks such as hunting animals, when there happens to be animals spawning in a lobby, picking flowers, fishing, and taking odd jobs from the many eccentric strangers dotted around the map, which are short, repeating missions you can complete by yourself. They are pretty basic: steal a wagon, rob someone, destroy some crates, hunt a dangerous animal, but they're a fun distraction, and you can return to whoever gave you the job after for another one. More of a good thing. Fans of Arthur's story will also enjoy being able to hang with familiar faces, including Sean McGuire, Sadie Adler. Red Dead Online takes place before the events of the main game, so certain characters are very different situations. There are some new characters too, or expanded roles for people who Arthur otherwise only glimpses. Rockstar has done a great job of making Red Dead Online feel like a proper connected part of Red Dead universe at large. rather than just tacked on extra, and there are a few cute references to the saga of the Vanderlyn gang to discover. You can do all this in single player, of course, ignore the mission, hand down to Red Dead Redemption 2 itself, a compelling Wild West sandbox with its own set of much better stranger missions. But there's one thing that sets Red Dead Online apart: other people, for better or worse. I never actively seek out other players when I'm online, but I love it when I randomly encounter them as I'm going about my business, unless they're griefing you, which is always fun. It makes the world feel wonderfully alive and unpredictable, whether it's a massive gunfight breaking out in a town. Usually it's Valentine or Blackwater or Saint Denis. Frequent occurrence, very frequent occurrence, are just bumping into a couple of hunters and the snow-battered grizzlies and giving them a friendly wave as you ride on your horse. Of these encounters, it's the latter kind that really stick with me. I remember playing at launch briefly and quitting because I kept getting lassoed by idiots and dragged through the dirt like Marty McFly. Fun fact, with Red Dead Redemption multiplayer, which was tacked on to Red Dead Redemption 1, Rockstar made a statement about that many years ago. The reason why they did not add the lasso to Red Dead Redemption multiplayer was because they didn't want players to grief each other with it. Funny how times change. Continuing, but people are generally a lot nicer these days, and it's always a joy when you experience a tiny human moment, such as the guy who saw me fishing in a creek, wandered over to watch, clapped as I snagged a sockeye, and that's the kind of online interaction I love. And Red Dead Online is full of them. You can keep your iron holstered and don't shoot on sight, which is a tall order for some players. Some players? But honestly, that's part of the thrill. When you run into someone in the wilderness, it's always a tense moment. You could be a potential ally or just a fellow traveler minding their own business. They could be waiting to ambush and rob you, or maybe they're just a troublemaker looking for someone to lasso. Yeah, they're out there. Because there's still a few of those guys out there. A few. Yeah. Let's see, the result of this tension is that Red Dead's Wild West suddenly feels like a genuine wild, dangerous, uncertain place, like the frontier may have felt back in when the time the game was set. This makes the game much more immersive, although I get that some players would prefer just to explore the world alone, free from danger. There's already enough danger in the world by yourself. The magic of Red Dead Online. The only thing working against Red Dead Online as a sandbox, at least for now, is that its version of the world isn't quite as rich or reactive as its single-player counterpart. You can't interact with NPCs, or another problem with playing as a mute character, and there are fewer people wandering in the streets, but Rockstar has been steadily improving these side of things with updates, just recently adding random events on the road, such as ambushes, stranger missions. Well, it's not recently. I think they added a few with Moonshiners. Then before that, they added some more with the Frontier Pursuits. So it's been a while. In time, as technology improves, Red Dead Online might even be more detailed and reactive than story mode. I don't think so. But, okay. But for now, if you want to hurl insults at people, you're going to have to stick with Arthur. Yeah. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, you could go into Red Dead Online and do the voice chat, which I avoid, and you could hurl insults that way if you feel so inclined. I'm sure there's some players that love doing that. For me, the real magic of Red Dead's world is that even when I'm not doing anything, it's incredibly captivating. I've spent countless hours just aimlessly rambling on foot and horseback, hiking over snowy mountains, wading through murky swamps, and drifting across the grassy plains. Usually when you sink 100 hours into an open world, you start to see the cracks, the joins, the novelty fades away, familiarity kicks in, and the magic slowly wears off. But even now, over all this time, I'm still completely in awe of this wild, rugged country, how natural it feels, how every vistas, looks, and an old landscape painting come to life, and its stark, sweeping beauty. The fact that Red Dead Online lets me experience all this, but with the added excitement and danger of running into other players, means that it's my favorite way, arguably the best way, I disagree, to exist in the remarkable setting. And as someone who has always wanted a Westworld to exist, well, a safer version of it, which, fun fact, even though Michael Crichton wrote and directed Westworld, the original with Yul Brynner and, James Brolin, which is obviously, I guess, Christian Bale reincarnated. I don't know. This is a joke. James Brolin, by the way, is Josh Brolin's dad. case you didn't know. He also wrote Jurassic Park. Some of you know that from Michael Crichton. The first season of Westworld was also inspired by Red Dead Redemption and open world games. So a little bit of both, a little bit of inspiration from the original Westworld, as well as, Red Dead Redemption itself. That's what I read in an interview a while back anyways. Let's see. So you polished off Red Dead Redemption 2 story and you thought you experienced everything in its colossal Wild West to offer. It might be worth saddling up and trying the online mode. So some of the comments, obviously there are a lot of people that will disagree. There may be a few that agree with him. Overall, I'll say it was a good article by Andy, and I've read way worse articles, and I do agree with a lot of things he said. There's a reason why people still play Red Dead Online, despite the fact the game doesn't have that much content at the moment. Hopefully they will continue to add content to Red Dead Online, but there's also a lot of issues and bugs and quote-unquote features that a lot of us jokingly refer to, like lack of animal spawnings, camp pitching issues, infinite loading screens still around even though they claim to fix it. The list goes on and on. But despite all the problems and the issues in the game and the fact that there hasn't been an update since December, there's definitely is a loyal community around Red Dead Online that still enjoy playing this game because of the fact that it is a breathtaking world and there is a lot to it. It is beautiful, and a lot of us are hopeful that Rockstar will continue to add more content to Red Dead Online, as well as fix the issues that a lot of us have with the game, including the lack of different lobby types. So hopefully, just hopefully, Rockstar's listening to the community. But I do disagree with Andy, and we have a right to agree and disagree. We can be social and civil with each other. There's no need to cancel each other because we disagree. It's fine. We should get back to some civility and actually treating each other like human beings. In my honest opinion, as a fan of Red Dead Online, who's been playing Red Dead Online and streaming it and covering it since launch of the beta a year ago, I believe that Red Dead Redemption 2 is still the better open world experience of the two. There's just way more to do in Red Dead Redemption 2 than Red Dead Online. I believe that Rockstar will continue expanding and adding to the world of Red Dead Online with future roles and content. But whether or not it ends up lasting or being as successful as long as Grand Theft Auto Online has been remains to be seen. But as of right now, I'm sorry, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is a much better open world experience. The animals flourish a lot better, and you have a lot more people to interact with, and it feels way more alive, with a lot more things to do, like the main story missions, you have side quests, you have other activities and dynamics that pop up, way more than in Red Dead Online. The positive about Red Dead Online is the fact that you can create your own character and you can explore the entire map of Red Dead Online, whereas in Red Dead Redemption 2, from chapters 1 through 6, you are limited to certain parts of the map, unfortunately, because of the story itself. There are great things about Red Dead Online. There is the promise of it becoming more. If it's successful, it'll probably never reach the same heights of Grand Theft Auto Online, but we hope that Rockstar will continue to support and add new content and roles and fix issues in Red Dead Online in order to make it a much more enjoyable experience. But yeah, I mean, Arthur Morgan is one of the best video game protagonists of all time. And the characters you interact with from the Vanderlyn gang and other secondary characters you happen to stumble across on your adventures and everything else that transpires in Red Dead Redemption 2, plus 50, 60 plus game hours you can invest into Red Dead Redemption 2, just puts it above and beyond Red Dead Online as of right now when it comes to it being the better open world experience. But that's just how I feel about it. That's my views, my thoughts, my opinions. I just feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 is superior to Red Dead Online. Now, does that mean I hate Red Dead Online? Obviously not, because I stream it and I cover it and I continue to support it, and I hope that it will eventually turn around for the better with more content, fixes, and different lobby types, hopefully, Rockstar. But anyways, I want to know what you think about this article. Do you agree with Andy? Do you disagree with him? Just be civil about it. We all have a right to disagree as long as you're civil. Let's try to have some civility here. There's enough of that toxic, keyboard warrioring on the socials like Twitter. So do you disagree with him? And if you disagree with him, why do you think Red Dead Redemption 2 is better? But if you agree with the Games Radar article, which is linked once again below in the description section, you're welcome to chime in with your reasons why you like Red Dead Online more than Red Dead Redemption 2 below in the comments section.